If you are an artist or a creative person in general, you must have experienced the feeling of not being able to do your work, even though you know this is what you should be doing. Most people call this procrastination, but creative people, especially artists, usually call it artist block. You are going to find many articles and videos online talking about this, and generally speaking, they tell you that the reason that you can't do the work is that you run out of ideas and art inspiration becomes sorely lacking. They will give you many reasons why you can't start working on your projects and some tips and tricks to overcome this, which can work depending on what kind of person you are. The problem is they don't tell you who or what it is your enemy. The enemy might take a form of procrastination or artist block to fool you, but that's not it. Not really, because it is deeper than that. The enemy of an artist hates to be given a name or to be identified, because this way it becomes easier for you to defeat it. It becomes naked and weak. You can't hear it, see it, or touch it, but you can feel it. If creativity and doing the work is the force, then this thing is the anti-force. It is a repelling power that prevents you from becoming successful, and it is your number one enemy. Steven Pressfield wrote a whole book about it known as The War of Art. In this book, he talks about how it manipulates you in every way possible and explained everything you need to know about it, and he called it resistance. Today we're going to talk about resistance as Steven Pressfield described it and how you can deal with it to be able to be a better artist. This video is about something different, but it is about a very important concept that will help you a lot in your journey as an artist and in your daily life. I want to say that a lot of things I am going to say are quoted from the book, so you probably want to check it out for more in-depth information. Defining the enemy. Resistance cannot be seen, touched, heard, or smelled, but it can be felt. We experience it as an energy field radiating from a work in potential. It is a repelling force. It is negative. Its aim is to shove us away, distract us, prevent us from doing our work. Knowing what resistance is and its nature is a very important thing to do for artists to be able to overcome it and do their work. Because a lot of artists get stuck staring at the canvas of their digital software, thinking about what they are gonna do, and then they succumb to the negative power of resistance to find themselves later doing something meaningless or other meaningless activities like spending hours on social media websites or playing video games. Resistance is internal. Resistance seems to come from outside ourselves. We locate it in spouses, jobs, bosses, kids, and so on, but not inside ourselves. Resistance is not a peripheral opponent. Resistance arises from within. It is self-generated and self-perpetuated. Resistance is the enemy within. As we said, resistance hates to be identified and blamed for not doing our work, so it leads us to point fingers on other people in an attempt to prevent us from looking within and realizing that we are the reason that we are not doing the work. Resistance is insidious. Resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, fabricate, falsify, seduce, bully, cajole. Resistance is Protean. Resistance will tell you that you have a lot of time, so spending a couple of more hours sleeping, playing video games, or watching TV shows does not hurt. It will tell you things that are not true, but you believe it because you don't feel like doing the work anyway. Resistance will seduce you to do dopamine-inducing activities that feel more enjoyable to make the artistic experience less fun. Resistance is implacable. Resistance is like the alien or the Terminator. It cannot be reasoned with. It is an engine of destruction, programmed from the factory with one objective only: to prevent us from doing our work. So trying to reason with resistance is futile. It will not let you do anything creative, productive, or anything positive for this matter. Your only chance against it is to realize what it actually is and to fight it. Resistance is impersonal. Resistance is not out there to get you personally. It does not know who you are, and it doesn't care. Resistance is a force of nature. It acts objectively, so trying to hate it or fear it is not gonna work. Resistance plays for the keeps. Resistance goal is not to wound or disable. Resistance aim is to kill. Its target is the epicenter of our being, our genius, our soul, the unique and priceless gift we were put on this earth to give, and that no one else has but us. Resistance means business. When we fight it, we are in war to the death. So if you think that resistance will just be around for a couple of hours or a couple of days, then you are wrong, because there are a lot of people struggling with problems of not being creative and being able to do their work properly in their lives. It will not give up until you die, because the only thing that will help you with procrastination or artist block in the future is the ability to fight resistance properly. Resistance is fueled by fear. Resistance has no strength of its own. Every ounce of juice it possesses comes from us. We feed it with power by fear of it. Master that fear, and we will be able to conquer resistance. This is especially true when trying to work on big projects or something that we never created before. For example, if you are a 2D or concept artist who wants to use 3D software in his projects, or a 3D modeling artist who wants to do character animation or visual effects. Resistance will feed itself on your fear of going through something that you are not particularly good at to prevent you from doing it in the first place. That's why the saying that do the work and you will be able to do the work is very powerful and very true. Resistance is strongest at the finish line. The danger is greatest when the finish line is in sight. At this point, resistance knows we're about to defeat it. It hits the panic button. It marshals one last assault and slams us with everything it's got. Probably you always wanted to be a 3D artist, or you spend many hours learning the tools and the concepts of modeling and animation. But when you decide to commit and go big, resistance kicks in so hard because it knows the death of it is near. It tries to push you back to prevent you from being all you can be, or to be successful in the first place. Resistance recruit allies. When you as an artist start following your calling and try to become the person you always wanted to be, you will see people around you acting in ways that don't serve your best interests because it reminds them, consciously or subconsciously, of their own resistance and how it still has a solid grip over them and how weak they are. The fact that you are defeating your own resistance makes them feel insecure. They start telling you that you have changed and you don't care about them as much as you did and that you don't spend much time with them. Others might tell you that following your heart calling as an artist is just a waste of time and money, and that you will be miserable down the road. How to defeat resistance? First of all, you need to show up every day. Sit in your desk and start doing something as long as you can, and spending as much time as you can creating things or modeling things, even if it is not part of your project you are working on right now, because this will give you the momentum and will weaken the negative power of resistance and procrastination. Resistance will not give up easily, so you need to be patient because during a project or during your journey as an artist, you will inevitably face problems and a lot of obstacles. These are opportunities for resistance to take over you and prevent you from doing the work, so you need to be strong and patient. Also, a very important thing to do here is to think long term, because resistance does not get tired and it does not give up, because it is like a Terminator. It does not reason and it does not understand anything but its objective. Resistance is negative energy that loves disorder and chaos, so you better be organized in your art, because this way things become more clear and easier to deal with. Remember, if things get complicated, difficult, or frustrating, it is an opportunity for resistance to kick in. A very important thing to do is to act in the face of fear, because as Pressfield said, resistance feeds on our fear. So the more fear we have, the stronger it is gonna become. Don't give yourself excuses and accept no excuses during your project as an artist, and always remind yourself of reasons why it is good to do the work, rather than giving yourself excuses for not doing the work. Don't over-identify with a job or with your art, because resistance loves that. It wants you to lose your temper or lose confidence in your skills when someone criticizes your art. This is actually part of being a professional, and Pressfield talks about this concept, which is called turning pro, in which he mentioned the power of being a professional and dealing with resistance. I hope you found this video useful and informative. If you have something to add, please leave it in the comment section below. Also, you can check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.